I bet you didn't know that by the time you're 80 years old, your muscle mass has probably already shrunk by half compared to when you were younger. This terrible decline, called sarcopenia, affects more than 50 million seniors worldwide, quietly stealing their independence. In fact, falls caused by weak muscles send over 300,000 older adults to the hospital every year. Here's the shocking part. Research reported in the Journal of Physiology challenges the idea that this severe muscle wasting is unavoidable. While most people in their age group struggle with basic tasks like getting out of a chair or climbing stairs, some individuals in their 70s have the strength, function, and even look of someone decades younger. These people are often called super. They manage to stay fully independent well into their 90s, often outperforming people half their age on strength tests. They continue to climb mountains and play sports. If you enjoy videos like this, please hit like and subscribe for more educational health content. So, what is their secret? While 93% of seniors have no idea what habits can significantly slow down or even reverse age-related muscle loss, researchers at the Mayo Clinic have actually figured it out. Most doctors never tell their older patients about the most important habits that can help them regain lost muscle mass well into their 70s and 80s. According to Harvard Medical School researchers, many common doctor recommendations actually contradict what science has proven is crucial for preserving strength as we age. Keep reading, because the first habit is likely something you do incorrectly every single day. This common mistake is accelerating muscle atrophy by turning on genes that shouldn't be active. Fixing this single behavior could be the difference between enjoying your golden years on your own or needing outside help. Before we start, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Also, tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Alright, let's dive right in. The 7 Habits of Muscle Super-Agers. 7. Hormetic stress. One of the most surprising things strong 80-year-olds do is put themselves through specific, controlled types of stress called hormetic stresses. Hormesis is the idea that chemicals or experiences that are toxic at high doses have positive effects at lower doses. What doesn't kill you literally makes you stronger, especially when it comes to muscle. Studies from the Buck Institute for Research in Aging show that short exposures to certain stresses trigger cellular defense mechanisms that help preserve and even increase muscle function and growth well into a person's 80s. Temperature variation is the primary hormetic stressor used by It activates brown fat, boosts mitochondrial growth, and releases adiponectin, a hormone that protects muscle tissue from breaking down. Short exposure to cold, like ending your showers with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water or quick cold plunges, is beneficial. Saunas and hot tubs work similarly, activating heat shock proteins that protect and repair muscle cells from damage. According to one Finnish study, 10 years of regular sauna use 4 to 7 times weekly was linked to 40% less muscle loss compared to non-sauna users. Intermittent fasting, or eating within strict time limits, is the second hormetic stressor. To enhance muscle quality and stimulate autophagy, the cellular cleansing process, super-agers restrict their eating to a tight window of 8 to 10 hours a day, without necessarily focusing on weight loss. Research from the Salk Institute shows this technique can improve mitochondrial function in muscles by up to 10% in just 12 weeks. Transient, powerful muscle contractions are the third hormetic stressor. A common form is overcoming isometrics, where super-agers repeatedly push or pull against immovable objects at full force for 5 to 10 seconds. These brief but forceful contractions signal to muscle cells to stay big and active without putting excessive strain on the joints. The power of these stresses comes from their sporadic nature. They must be short and followed by plenty of recovery time. When done correctly, these controlled stresses activate longevity genes, such as FOXOs and sirtuins, whose main job is to maintain muscle mass as we age. Start with these habits slowly until you build tolerance. You want gentle, helpful stress, not something that overwhelms your system. 6. Protein timing strategy. While the amount of protein consumed is a major concern for seniors, studies suggest that when you eat protein may be even more critical. Scientists call the gradual reduction in protein utilization that happens with age anabolic resistance. Research in the Journal of Nutrition showed that, contrary to what many people think, seniors should not consume all of their protein at once, but rather spread it out throughout the day. Here's the important part. Your muscles have an opportunity window for protein synthesis that opens about 3 to 4 hours after each meal. The mistake most seniors make is getting all their protein at dinner, meaning they miss out on muscle-building opportunities throughout the rest of the day. The best approach is to spread your meals out throughout the day and aim for 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each one. So, instead of having cereal or toast for breakfast, try eating eggs, Greek yogurt, or a protein smoothie. Continue this trend during lunch and dinner with lean meats, fish, dairy, or vegetarian protein sources like lentils and beans. This scheduling technique alone can boost muscle protein synthesis by as much as 25%, compared to eating the same amount of protein concentrated in fewer meals. In a 12-week study from the University of Texas, participants who followed this method gained an average of 1.2 pounds of muscle without changing anything else in their lifestyle. It's not enough to simply eat protein if you want your muscles to grow stronger or keep wasting away. When you eat, it also matters. 5. Optimization of vitamin D levels. Did you know that the so-called muscle vitamin is lacking in more than 80% of the elderly population? Vitamin D insufficiency is a silent killer of strength, rampant among older adults. Let me explain. Vitamin D is needed for more than just nourishing your bones. Harvard University scientists found that vitamin D activates the genes involved in building and synthesizing muscle. Your cells contain vitamin D receptors that, when activated, set in motion the processes needed to develop and maintain muscle mass. Surprisingly, a pioneering study in JAMA Internal Medicine showed that older adults whose vitamin D levels were optimal had 25% greater muscle strength than those whose levels were inadequate. They also showed significantly improved reaction time, coordination, and balance, all of which are essential for preventing falls. A vitamin D deficiency is defined as levels below 20 nanograms per milliliter. Super-agers, who seem to age without losing strength, almost always have optimal levels above 40 nanograms per milliliter. What are the best vitamin D supplementation strategies? While sun exposure is helpful, its effectiveness decreases as we age. This is because our skin's vitamin D production drops by 50% between the ages of 20 and 65 when exposed to sunlight. The standard daily recommendation of 600 IU is severely inadequate, and supplementation is necessary for most seniors. Research suggests that most older adults need 2,000 to 4,000 IU per day to achieve adequate levels, though this should be personalized based on blood testing. Pair this with vitamin D-rich foods such as fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy, and try to get 15 to 20 minutes of direct midday sun exposure if you can. A word of caution. Vitamin D works synergistically with vitamin K2, which is found in fermented foods and certain animal products. K2 ensures calcium goes to your bones and not your arteries. High doses of vitamin D supplementation without sufficient K2 can cause calcification in your arteries. This underappreciated yet crucial nutrient interaction may be the deciding factor in your success. Consult your doctor for a blood test to find out how much vitamin D your body needs. Then, try to keep your levels above 40 milligrams per milliliter to keep your muscles from wasting away. 4. Manage inflammation every day. So, what do really strong older people have in common? They consistently have very low levels of inflammation. Researchers have recently concluded that inflammaging, a term for chronic low-grade inflammation, is a key factor in the deterioration of muscle mass in the elderly. This silent inflammatory process causes muscle protein to break down faster than your body can replace it. But that's not all. Inflammation also blocks the growth signals that usually promote muscle growth in response to exercise and protein intake. A seminal study from Tufts University found that seniors whose inflammatory markers were the highest lost muscle mass 3 times more quickly than those whose levels were the lowest, regardless of their protein consumption or exercise routines. Super-agers who maintain their youthful strength use certain anti-inflammatory tactics that most seniors overlook. Their first priority is getting high-quality sleep, which they achieve by going to bed at the same time every night and sleeping in a completely dark room. Sleep loss can speed up muscle atrophy by increasing inflammatory cytokines by as much as 40%. Secondly, they pay close attention to the health of their digestive systems. New studies from the University of California show that age-related changes in gut bacteria directly cause systemic inflammation. The diets of super-agers include a variety of plant foods, 30+ types per week, fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, etc., and a wide variety of daily fiber sources that contain natural probiotics. Thirdly, they are careful about workout intensity. While regular movement is essential, older adults should avoid overly intense workouts because it can make inflammation worse. The average super-ager works out at a moderate level most days, with short, intense intervals sprinkled in only once or twice a week. Lastly, they regularly consume specific anti-inflammatory compounds, such as omega-3 fatty acids 2 to 3 grams per day from fatty fish or supplements, curcumin from turmeric, and polyphenol-rich foods, dark berries, green tea, and extra virgin olive oil. An easy blood test that measures high-sensitivity C-reactive protein HSCP can help you keep tabs on inflammation. Super-agers usually keep their levels below 1.0 milligrams L, in contrast to the average senior who has levels 3 to 5 times higher. 3. Taking specific daily micronutrients. While most diet advice focuses on macronutrients like protein, carbs, and fats, super-agers with remarkable muscle strength pay close attention to specific micronutrients that aid in protein synthesis and muscle function. These essential nutrients act as facilitators. Without them, no amount of protein or exercise will prevent you from losing muscle mass. Magnesium naturally takes precedence, as University of Vermont researchers have called it the forgotten electrolyte for muscle health. This mineral is essential for over 300 enzymatic reactions involved in muscle function, and over 70% of the elderly population is lacking it. A 2021 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors with adequate magnesium levels had 30% stronger grips and significantly higher physical performance than those with even slightly low levels. Super-agers eat magnesium-rich foods daily: dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and dark chocolate, and supplement with highly bioavailable forms like glycinate or threonate. Creatine is next. It's not reserved for young bodybuilders. McMaster University research 2015 showed that creatine supplementation significantly improved older adults' muscle mass, strength, and cognitive function compared to strength training alone. A daily intake of 3 to 5 grams can boost muscle energy production and water content in muscle cells, creating a muscle-building environment. Next up is methylated B12, a B vitamin that is often overlooked. Since stomach acid production decreases with age, our body's ability to absorb B12 also declines. Worse yet, two of the most widely used medications, metformin and proton pump inhibitors, severely deplete this vital vitamin. A deficiency affects both nerve function and muscle energy generation. Super-agers usually supplement with the active form, methylcobalamin, instead of the cheaper cyanocobalamin found in most multivitamins. Mineral cofactors such as zinc, selenium, and chromium also play a critical role in facilitating protein synthesis and insulin sensitivity, qualities essential for nutrient transport to muscle tissue. A comprehensive study from Tufts University found that optimal levels of these trace minerals were linked to a 22% increase in muscle mass maintenance over a 5-year period. Super-agers use micronutrient testing to find their unique nutritional gaps, so they can supplement appropriately rather than relying on a generic multivitamin. By customizing their treatment to their specific biochemical needs, they avoid unnecessary and costly treatments. 2. Preserving your neuromuscular connections. Here's an interesting fact that most seniors are unaware of. When muscles atrophy, it's more than just the individual fibers that are affected. The weakest link is often the connection between your muscles and your nervous system, called the neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junctions are like the electrical outlets that supply power to your muscles. When they start to break down, which happens much faster after age 60, no amount of dietary protein or exercise will help your brain connect with your muscles. New research from the University of Michigan shows that exceptionally strong super-agers have much healthier neuromuscular connections than the average senior. Even more exciting, researchers have identified several habits that can preserve or even repair these vital links. The first method involves movements that require coordination and precise execution. Research has shown that activities like Tai Chi, dancing, tennis, or even ping pong can strengthen the neuromuscular connections by improving brain pathways to muscles, compared to regular strength training or just walking. These exercises force your nervous system to engage muscle fibers in specific patterns. In 2020, researchers showed that older adults who participated in coordination-demanding activities twice weekly preserved neuromuscular connections 31% better than those who only exercise conventionally. The second method focuses on chemicals that promote neuromuscular health. Evidence suggests that alpha-lipoic acid and acetyl-L-carnitine can prevent oxidative damage to the nerve-muscle link. Even more encouraging is that certain B1 forms like benfotiamine and huperzine found in Chinese club moss can boost the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, the main one responsible for muscle activation. The third method involves breathing techniques used by super-agers to stimulate the vagus nerve, which helps regulate neuromuscular transmission. By practicing simple techniques like box breathing, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, you can increase neural activation of muscles by as much as 15% in as little as 5 minutes a day. Perhaps most intriguing is the link between mental activity and the maintenance of neuromuscular connections. A seminal study from Columbia University showed that older adults who regularly participated in challenging cognitive pursuits had much better preserved muscle function. Researchers found that brain training had a direct positive effect on the neuromuscular system because the brain and the neuromuscular system share many neural pathways. By using these neuromuscular preservation techniques, super-agers keep their brain connections strong well into their 80s and beyond, allowing them to recruit muscle fibers efficiently. 1. Progressive resistance exercise. We have arrived at the habit that experts at Tufts University called the most powerful anti-aging drug ever found, and it is the most crucial habit that separates exceptionally strong 80-year-olds from their peers. It is progressive resistance training, but not in the way most seniors do it. The super-agers whose strength levels defy their true age fight the biological processes of muscle atrophy by using targeted resistance training programs. Most older adults never learn this fundamental truth. Your muscles operate on the use it or lose it principle, with one crucial exception. To maintain them, you must progressively challenge them. Sticking with the same light weights week after week, going for a walk, or doing water aerobics won't be enough to keep muscle mass over age 60. How is the super-agers method different? First, the focus is on intensity, not duration. McMaster University research showed that 2 weeks of high-intensity resistance training to the point of failure resulted in greater muscle gain for seniors compared to 5 weeks of moderate intensity exercise. The key is to reach the point where you cannot do another repetition with proper form, what exercise physiologists call transient muscle failure. This sends powerful anabolic signals that trigger protein synthesis in the muscles for up to 72 hours after the workout. Secondly, super-agers focus on compound movements that use multiple muscle groups at once. They perform modified versions of squats, deadlifts, rows, pushes and pulls, keeping their mobility and joint health in mind. These movements produce a stronger hormonal response compared to isolated actions like bicep curls or leg extensions. Third, they use progressive overload, which means gradually increasing the level of difficulty over time. Your muscles adapt to whatever stress you put them under, so using the same weights month after month leads to stagnation. Super-agers track their workouts and push themselves to do slightly more each time. Fourth, they emphasize the eccentric, or lowering, parts of movements, which are especially effective for strengthening older muscles. Lowering the weights slowly puts more strain on the muscles without putting as much stress on the joints. Amazingly, this method works even for people who are starting late. A revolutionary study from the University of Alabama found that older adults who started a 12-week program of progressive resistance training increased their strength by 35% and added an average of 3.3 pounds of muscle. These incredible changes were also accompanied by improvements in cognitive function, bone density, and blood glucose control. So, what is the most common mistake seniors make? Many believe resistance exercise is too dangerous or too intense for them. The real risk lies in not doing resistance training. As continued muscle loss increases the risk of frailty, falls, and the loss of independence. If you only do one thing from this video, commit to progressive resistance training. Consult a trainer first to make sure you're using correct form, then gradually work up to the proper intensity for your fitness level. Even achieving 2 30-minute sessions per week can have a profound impact on how quickly you age. Here they are, the 7 research-backed habits that account for the remarkable muscular strength that some 80-year-olds maintain. Pick one habit you can easily implement today and work your way up to the others. Putting effort into building your strength and independence today will pay huge dividends in the long run. Now, it is your turn to speak up. Are you currently doing any of these 7 habits? If so, which one caught you by surprise? Do you know an older person in your life who possesses remarkable strength for their age? Leave a comment below and tell us about yourself and your thoughts. We are eager to listen to them. Thank you very much for your time.